Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
She changes lives all the time, she and her team up in the Albany area. And these are people, many women who are experiencing hair loss. And whether it's a solution to regrow the hair or definitely wigs that you can't even detect that somebody is wearing one, that's all what she does. It's amazing. She is a hair solution specialist at Power Beauty Unlimited. And we're going to dig deeper into what goes on with fitting somebody and supporting somebody that's going through some hair loss for whatever reason that might be. She's Valrie Alexander. She's back with us. How you doing today?
Great. Always a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, love having you back here. Learned so much last time we got together. Alopecia. We talked about some of the causes of it, which kind of blew me away, things that I didn't even realize, and exactly what it is. Before we dive into picking up where we left off,
Mhm.
there's a walk that's coming up in the upstate New York area. Tell us about that.
So the NAF Foundation, which stands for National Alopecia Areata Foundation, they are holding a national walk to support those individuals who are experiencing hair loss and gather some donations so that we can kind of help with some research to combat hair loss in individuals dealing with alopecia.
So where's that walk taking place?
So it's going to be down in New York City,
Oh, okay.
Manhattan. It's going to be September 28th. And I believe it starts probably around 1 o'clock. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I will be down there walking with my fellow alopecia sisters as a
Wow.
group. Yep. So we have a alopecia women's group on Facebook, and we all connected, and we're all gonna reconnect when we go down to this walk.
I had no idea that it was I was thinking it was upstate. You're upstate. It's downstate, New York City. And the greatest city in the world. It just stands to reason why this is such an important thing for
Mhm.
so many people, so many women that are dealing with it and need the support, which is what you do. Now, I want to dig into back into wigs and how you support with those and just, some of the questions that go along with that. I've heard the term many times, a medical wig.
Yeah.
What exactly is that?
So a medical wig differs from a traditional cosmetic wig in the sense the materials that are used in that unit are medical grade per se, just so we won't have any adverse effects when that person is putting that wig on, such as itchiness. Their scalp may be tender.
Uh,
Yeah, so that's the
hmm.
difference. Yeah.
Didn't even think about that. So yeah, somebody that's going through some treatment, whether it's radiation, chemo, whatever's going on there.
Yeah.
Interesting. How do you choose the right wig for somebody? We skimmed that last time. We talked about a lot, spent a lot of time talking about alopecia last time. How do you make the right selection?
Well, it's a joint effort. So the customer comes in, they may want to go back to their original identity. They may want the same color, the same texture, the same hairstyle they've worn for years. So it all depends. And when we deal with the cap construction of it, we have to think about their daily activities. So if they're working outside all day, they may not want a unit that has some adhesive on it or hairspray. Because when you're sweating, all that stuff melts
Hmm.
along with the heat that's making you perspire. If you are, let's say you work in the office all day, you may want something, that just goes on when you wake up in the morning, you take it off when you go to bed.
It's almost as if you're a hair therapist because you have to ask the right questions, get in their head, literally their
Mhm.
mindset of what their goals are, what makes them feel well. Maybe they want to change their hairstyle, and this is the
Yeah.
perfect opportunity. So it seems like you go on a fact-finding mission, Valrie, before you do anything.
Yes, definitely. That's the consultation process. And we want to make sure that we're doing the best consultation, we can do because the end result needs to reflect what the client wants. So we're always listening to the client's thoughts. Even though we may have other suggestions, we want to make sure they're comfortable with what they're going to get in the end.
Is there anything that somebody needs to do to prepare for a consultation?
To prepare for a consultation, I would say I would kind of see if it's a medical wig purposes, I would kind of call your insurance company and see if that medical wig could be covered under the insurance.
Hmm.
I would, kind of look at your budget to see if this is something that you can afford right now. Or is it something you are willing to invest in but need kind of a payment plan in order to get, what you're looking for?
So that being said, you have custom wigs, then there's ready-made wigs. The
Mhm.
difference between the two, how you would decide, is it really about price, or can you find a ready-made wig that's good to go and that's perfect. That's the way I want to look.
You could potentially walk into a regular beauty supply store and pick up a wig, but most likely that wig is a standard size. So the standard
Uh,
size is between 22 inches circumference to a 23. And people who are dealing with hair loss, generally, their head measurement may be smaller because they don't have hair or they have little hair in certain areas. So a custom wig is specifically customized for your head. So no one else is going to be able to put that on and say, this is a great fit. That's just for you.
Thank you for sharing that. Uh, had no idea that's the way it works. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes it looks like the easy option, but maybe not so much.
Yep.
Um, how do you figure out what's going to work for somebody? Is it based on what they're saying? Do you look at their current hairstyle? Do you look at pictures, from the past?
So we look at their hair in general. So we want to make sure that we're not compromising anything if someone is coming in dealing with hair loss. We don't want to compromise anything. We want to enhance it. So if someone comes in and they're thin on the top, they may not need a full wig. They might need just a topper piece that blends in seamlessly with their own hair.
Okay.
Yep.
We talked about that before, and I was blown away, very intrigued how you can do a blend. You can,
Yeah.
just piece it out where, maybe there's just one section of hair that's missing. I, I didn't even know that was possible.
Yeah.
And done so it's undetectable. It's mind blowing.
The
That
art of camouflage.
Well,
So,
that's the word I use. You're an artist. There's definitely art involved in that. And I believe anything aesthetically, even those who are injectors for fillers and Botox, you have some that will just inject. You have others that artistically do it, knowing when they inject what's going to happen, what we're going to achieve. It's not just smoothing out lines. There's a
yeah.
lot more going into it. And I believe that's what you're doing when it comes to hair. It's very custom, very detailed.
Mhm.
You're looking for a certain a certain effect that has to get done, especially when you're piecing. What is that called when it's a piece?
It's called, if it's just a piece, it's a patch. So if you
Patch.
have a bald spot on the side of your head that you want to cover up, that's a patch. Yeah.
How do you know when it's time to get that patch or that wig repaired?
So if you're dealing with patches, you want to get that repaired when, you see a lot of hair missing off that patch because it's still going to shed just like, normal hair would on a scalp. And if you're dealing with a wig, you definitely want to get that wig maintenance at least every 2 months. And that's going to help maintain the integrity of that unit, the hair and the foundation of the wig.
So what is the difference between, they say, raw hair, virgin
Mm,
hair?
yeah.
To me, it kind of sounds the same. What is the difference?
So raw hair is human hair that has been collected, and has had no processing. It may have been washed and conditioned, but there's really no processing to that hair, such as stripping cuticles or things like that. Virgin hair it has been processed because they're making that hair bone straight or they're making that hair curly with some type of procedure. Maybe they're using chemicals, maybe they're using heat. But virgin hair usually is that hair that has been processed.
I want to move from the logistics of all of this to the mental aspect
Hmm.
and what goes on within somebody's mind, especially women, when it comes to hair loss. You deal with that in working with women all the time. Tell me about that.
Yeah, definitely. Um, for women, I guess for me, let me say, I won't speak for all women, but for me as a woman who deals with hair loss, my hair and my skin are my identity. So when that kind of depletes, I feel, incomplete. So when I talk to individuals when they're going through transitioning into a wig, we want to know, how has this affected you? How has it affected your family, your marriage, your love life in general? Because some people they try to hide it and they mask it instead of getting treatment or not letting their partner know what's going on. So it's hard for them and it causes depression. And it's not just women, it's men too, and it's children who are dealing with, the hair loss and the mental aspect of trying to find out who you are as a person dealing with hair loss.
Hmm. I love the fact, and sometimes it could be, a little personal for somebody to go a little bit deeper there. But like I said, you're a hair therapist in asking those questions. How is it affecting your confidence? How is it
Yeah.
affecting your relationship? Like you said, how is it affecting your marriage? Everybody's
Hmm.
different.
Yeah.
Um, and some, I have to say, most women, not being a woman, I don't know, but I would
Hmm.
think uh, it's real important for every single one. Different degrees of importance and
Hmm.
such, but not many women have shorter hair.
Hmm.
Very short hair. There's always some length to it.
Hmm.
Um, Big deal. It's a big deal.
Yeah, it is. And unless you're comfortable, I know a lot of women who go out and they don't have hair. They've cut all their hair off. So there's a
Yes.
lot of women who are comfortable, but it took them time to get there. It's
Yeah.
very hard. So it took them time to get there.
And uh, every woman that does that, I think, is beautiful. Some, I think they feel that it fits them more than others. Like, somebody
Hmm.
gets a new hairstyle, it's like, oh my gosh, look at that, because it fits your face.
Yeah.
Some women, when they shave off all their hair, it's like, whoa. I think that's bad. That you look better, without. You look just as beautiful without than with.
That's that confidence coming out because you're not caring about who's looking. You're confident with yourself. So,
You're right. I didn't think of it that way. I didn't think of it that way. And that's that the energy that comes from within that you
hmm.
project, where this is me and I'm good with it. So yeah, that's, and I'm not being negative here, but you will see some women that have um, lost their hair, haven't replaced it. They're going through treatment and
Hmm.
you know, they're beat up.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, they're beat up. Then
Yeah.
there's other women maybe have gone through treatment and they're just, they're rocking it. They've come to that realization like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good in my skin. This is what I got. And
It's what
I
I
don't care.
got. Yeah.
I don't care what you think.
Exactly.
And you can see, that confidence almost like oozes out of them. Um,
Hmm.
you know this so well because this was part of your journey, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. How long you been doing this?
So I've been doing this for the last 20 years,
Wow.
for myself. Yeah, definitely. Like I said, I experienced hair loss at a young age. So I had to come up with solutions in order to make myself feel good and not, have that depression because I've talked to women who have actually thought about, killing themselves because it's a struggle. So
Did
yeah.
you look at it in your life where you went from this place to that place to that place and said to yourself, there's got to be more. There's not enough support for women. And is
Mhm.
that why you kind of, dove into the water head first and said, I'm changing this up. I'm looking for something different for myself and then for others?
Yeah. So when I started out, I was just making wigs. And I've helped a lot of people with those wigs, but then I said, I'm really helping them mask instead of get treatment. The first thing anyone should do experiencing hair loss just should go see their medical provider or dermatologist.
Hmm.
And then, most likely they're referred to a trichologist, and we can help you, help them regain their hair back if that is possible.
Um, that's where I was going next. In the cases that you've come across where women were experiencing hair loss, whatever amount that may be,
Hmm.
what do you think the percentage is in your experience
Hmm.
where the hair could have been or was regrown or replaced? Not by a wig though. What
Hmm.
typically would you say? Well, that could happen in like a 40% of the cases that
Hmm.
that you've encountered. What do you think that would be?
Well, I would say that would be 50% of the women. As long as, like I said, if you're getting that treatment, then when you're experiencing the hair loss, don't wait 10 years and expect something to happen
Hmm.
because your scalp has already been damaged and it's already kind of healed itself. You cut yourself, it heals. And then sometimes you don't get hair back, like surgery. If you got surgery somewhere, you may be losing some hair. So,
Wow. Okay.
yeah.
And there could be so many different reasons. I've heard everything from vitamin deficiency
Mhm.
to anything. It could be anything that's causing it. But if you're starting on that path, like you said, look into it. Don't
Mhm.
wait. That's probably the best advice we've heard all
Yeah,
day.
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And I didn't think of that. One thinks that your hair is always growing.
Hmm.
So it's going to come back once you fix the problem, if you will. So I didn't even consider that. No, it's going to fix itself and might not grow back.
Exactly.
Wow. Wow. I have to imagine you've tried, and I love your hair, by the way. I've
Oh,
said it
thank
last
you.
time. It's like it's so like you fresh. It's
Oh,
like, but have you experimented yourself because you can, let me go
mhm.
longer. Let me try this. Let me try that.
Oh, yes. I actually was going to change out my wig today, but I didn't have time. So I love long hair. I love short hair. I love pixie cuts. So, one day you may see me and you're like, what's going on? And yeah, I have to in order to give my clients what they need. So I have to be the guinea pig of it all.
I look at you and see a beautiful woman.
Thank you.
And I also look at you and say, wig, stop that. What are you trying to do? Don't lie to me. Come on.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it looks so freshly natural. I'm like, I'm blown away. I really am.
Yeah. Well, that's what we aim for. We don't want anyone walking around looking like they have a wig on. We want you to walk around looking like it's your hair. Of course, we can't cover everything, and someone may know if they're close up on you, but from far away or a good distance, no one's really going to know what that is. And all the techniques that we use, we camouflage that to the T to make sure, even if you are on camera or someone is up close, that they're not noticing what's going on.
When you say up close, I have to imagine like this close. And nobody's going to be in your face like that, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So you have to be
Hmm.
that close. And anybody that close, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't get out of my space.
Yes, exactly.
If anybody's allowed to get that close, they already know what's going on. So we're
Hmm.
we're all good with that. Wow.
Yeah.
Love what you do. Now you're up in the Albany area. You're available if somebody needs a consult or in
Hmm.
another. I mean, you'll travel within reason, right?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Anyone needs a consultation, you can go on powerbeautyunlimited.com or you can call 518-290-7557. That's me live. So I'll be answering the phone and answering any questions you may have and scheduling that consultation for you.
What do you say to somebody who has maybe they have a wig now, they're not happy with it. Maybe they're contemplating or not contemplating, anticipating um, cancer treatment,
Mhm.
and they know, what's coming down the road.
Yep.
Um, or they're starting to experience some hair loss, whatever it might be. What do you say to them?
I say reach out to someone to help you find a solution. A cranioprosthesis specialist, which I am. We just deal in medical wigs and we ensure that we align everything that's going on with your insurance. We make sure that we get your measurements and things like that. So I would say just reach out to somebody, Google them, look at their reviews, and, kind of make sure that that's the right person for you. Um, when it comes to making that big investment and decision.
When you say medical, I want to just go
Hmm.
back to that. We started with that.
Hmm.
Does medical look just as good or similar than a non-medical wig?
Definitely.
Okay. Interesting, because I believe the perception might be, well, it's a medical wig. It's not, you're not going to get, the same effect. It's not going to be as fashionable. It's not going to have
It's
the same
better.
material.
It's better.
Really?
Yeah, it's
Wow.
definitely better. The materials in the inside, we can line it with silicone so it's not slipping. Um, and that's generally the case.
Well,
So it's better than a regular wig, and looks
com
more natural.
complete opposite of somebody that doesn't know would think.
Yeah.
Because medical, you just have a certain picture. It's, off the shelf kind of thing, or maybe,
Oh no.
you know,
Custom. Everything is custom here. We
wow.
customize everything.
Wow, that's a game changer. It really, and you had mentioned insurance before. Are medical wigs often covered?
They are coming, they are, they're often covered now. Since COVID hit, medical wigs have, increased in wants by the consumer. Everyone went through a rough time during COVID, so a lot of people did lose their hair. Stress is a big factor in hair loss.
Yep.
And when those stress levels go up, you may see, clumps of hair coming out and things like that. So stress is a main factor of that.
Wow. Um, Final question about that.
Hmm.
Can How does the insurance company determine that a medical wig is necessary?
Hmm.
It's more of a, because when you just walk in, hi Valerie, I definitely need something, and I'll take the medical wig. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
No, you have to go to a medical provider.
Okay,
And that medical provider is going to give you a prescription. And that prescription is going to identify those codes to identify what that need is.
gotcha. Okay, thanks for clarifying that. On your website, I love this line, and it kind of says everything. Power and beauty starts within.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
my motto. I want people to know that confidence comes from the inside. You can't just smile and say, "Oh, I'm happy." You
right.
have to really feel it for people to know that that's what you're feeling at that moment.
Love it. PowerBeautyUnlimited.com. Uh, Love what you do. Support you. And Valerie, thank you again for being here today with sharing all your knowledge.
Oh, my pleasure, Steve. Thank you.
Appreciate it. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, I mean, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.